everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sorting Hat. This time we're doing The Office. The reason we haven't done The Office so far is because I was kind of behind by 15 years. The first time I tried to watch it just didn't do it for me. I thought the whole fake documentary thing was, I don't know, it just didn't speak to me. Then COVID hit, and I marathoned the crap out of this show, and I'm like, wow, this is hilarious. It is not for everybody, and so I don't try to force it on people. But for those of us who find it funny, we find it really funny. I'm Chris Seckinger. I'm one of the co-founders.
Hi, everybody. I am Star. You guys know me from Tarot Tips and Tricks and from Witchcraft of a Middle-Aged Woman. And yeah, this is my 5th year, and I'm hanging out with Chris here. So hi, everyone. Huffle Huff.
We're having a mini con at my house right now. Anna, tell us about yourself.
I'm Hannah. I'm a Ravenclaw. I talked a lot my first CONjuration, so they told me that I could start doing panels, and then I've been doing them ever since. And I've been on panels all weekend, and you can go and watch some of them back on the Facebook channel because I think they went pretty well. So, yeah.
I watched them all. I watched
your
more
panels
panels
have been so dope, Hannah. You've been awesome. All weekend, I've just loved hanging out with you, just so you know.
Thank you. I loved watching I watched your tarot one, and it was great. I loved it.
So much. I had such a blast with that. It was like it literally was a last minute find. We didn't know if we were going to be able to do the tea party, and I do it normally then. And I was like, please. And there was like a event that didn't get to happen. And so I was like, well, Chris, I can do my cards. And he's like, really? And I just ran. And so literally it was kind of like a last minute thing. And yes, on Friday when we ran in, I literally ran in, sat down. They were like, you have less than 30 seconds. And it was like being in a newsroom, and you get the papers. You're like, hello, and today on the news. It was literally that fast. I just went right
Love
in.
it.
She had about
you did great.
seconds before
they were like, how did you do that? And I was just like, I got this. I don't know how.
Magic.
It was just like, boop.
Okay, Olivia, what about you?
I'm Olivia. I'm a Slytherin. I've been paneling at CONjuration since it began. Yeah, that's me.
All right, let's see.
It's the quiet and assuming ones that will bite you.
Oh, yeah,
But that's why we're loyal. We have to take care of them.
All right.
Olivia's just introduced herself so many times this weekend. She's like, I'm so tired. Y'all know me by now.
Y'all don't. Y'all are under a rock. I don't know what to do.
Honestly, I feel like the first year I did introductions, which I didn't really introduce myself the actual first year of CONjuration because I was just thrown onto a panel with like you said, last minute. They were like, we need someone now. And I was like, when's the panel? And they were like, it's in 2 minutes. And I was like, what?
What the hell's the panel? I don't know. Okay. Sure.
But like the second year, had a full introduction. And like since then it's just gone to, I'm Olivia, I'm a Slytherin, let's get this stuff on the road.
Speaking of getting stuff on the road, Charles, if you can pull up
roll that beautiful bean footage.
There we go. We are sorting The Office.
Yay!
I put the characters in just in an order. And I don't know what order it is. We're just going to find out one at a time. But I thought we should definitely start with Michael Scott. I find Michael to be interesting. I'm not sure exactly where he fits. Have y'all considered Michael at all? Hannah, Olivia, Star?
Okay. So my first gut reaction was to say Gryffindor, and I've reconsidered since then, but I do want to tell you that Anna hasn't watched. Well, I'll tell you this. Anna hasn't watched The Office, but Office memes and stuff are everywhere. And she's watched that clip where the fire alarm goes off and Michael's just running around like, what's the procedure? What's the procedure? And I was like, okay, so from that clip only that you've seen, what house would you sort them in? And she was like, Gryffindor. And I was like, okay, that's like, that's my gut. That's what my gut tells me. But when I really, really thought about it, I was like, I think he might be a puff because of how loyal he is to the company. He just wants to make everybody happy. Like, that's his real goal, is to like make everybody happy. All of the stuff that he does is really out of loyalty and out of trying to like make sure that everybody is in a good place. And I think those are really like Puff qualities.
Yeah, he's got those fatherly tendencies towards his employees. He really does seem to care about almost everybody. But we know even Hufflepuffs have that one person they can't stand, and Michael's got Toby, who we'll get to. I think Hufflepuff's a good place for him. What do you think, Olivia?
I don't know. My gut reaction was Gryffindor, just because he is very impulsive in his actions, I feel like. But he's definitely loyal, and I think his motivator is loyalty versus bravery. I do not think he's motivated by bravery at all.
Oh gosh, no, not at all.
No. He does show some bravery when he leaves the show. Well, doesn't leave the show, excuse me, leaves the company to move across the country. But I think that was also another example of his loyalty, loyalty to his love. So
yeah,
it looks like they
So I originally thought, at first I thought that Michael was a squib, because I was like, there's nothing magical about him. But I was actually talking to Jax, and Jax pointed out, was like, no, he's magical. He's been bound. He's talked about it too much. He's broken the code. And so he's basically, it's like a Hagrid. They took his wand and were like, you're not allowed to do magic anymore because you keep talking to the muggles about it. And that's why he spends all of the money on Amazon trying to get magic. So then I was like, okay, well, then he is a house. But you're right. I think he's Hufflepuff. But I think that Jax is right. I think he basically had a binding spell put on, or they put Lockhart on him and made him forget that he was an actual magician. But he somehow has forgotten that he is.
Whereas Hagrid had to turn his into an umbrella, Michael's wand is his coffee mug.
And what is in it? Cream and sugar.
Absolutely.
Totally Hufflepuff.
Right. Next, I have Dwight. I think Dwight's way easier to sort. I think he is a very smart Slytherin. I think he is Draco Malfoy. I think he was, he loves knowledge, but he loves what knowledge can do for him.
Mm-hmm. It's not the pursuit of knowledge, it's what the knowledge will do.
He really makes the show for me. Irritating as he is, and God knows I would not want to work in an office with him. I would not want to work anywhere with him. I want to watch him from afar just to see what he does to other people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I would have popcorn in the corner going, what the hell is White going to do next? Do y'all think that he's anything other than a Slytherin?
He is so Slytherin, it's ridiculous.
Abby says he's an evil Ravenclaw. Well,
Abby, I love you. You're like evil. Mm-hmm.
We call an evil Ravenclaw Slytherin. So
yeah, I was about to say, isn't that a Slytherin though? I think like more so he is a Slytherin because of how ambitious he is. Like, think about how he wanted that title, like assistant to the assistant of the regional manager. Like, and when Michael was like out of commission, he's like, so I'm in charge now, like, and being a volunteer, like whatever, he's like, yeah, no, I'm in charge. I can do all of this. That ambition to want to have all of these higher roles, I think, is what pushes him more towards Slytherin than Ravenclaw.
Yeah, it's all about ambition with White.
Luckily, he's a pretty comes across as pretty clear cut. Because his character is such a trope character that you can't help but be that.
That's true, but he's the trope character that every story.
Oh my God, you want it. You want it so bad because you know you're gonna hate every minute of it. You're just like, please, Jim, please put his stapler in Jell-O again. Please, I just want to see his face.
Speaking of Jim, what do we do with Jim? Where shall we put Jim?
Gryffindor.
He's definitely a Gryffindor.
Yeah. Jim's not an idiot, but he's not a Ravenclaw.
No.
Jim is loyal, but he's not Hufflepuff loyal. I'm not sure.
He's Slytherin loyal, though.
Dwight is a little Slytherin.
He's Slytherin loyal in that Hufflepuff kind of that way.
I don't think he's ambitious, though.
No.
If he was ambitious, then he would have had Michael's job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he's Gryffindor.
I think so too. Because you know what? going up against Dwight when you don't know what that psycho's going to do next, that's pretty darn brave.
What is it that Pam says? She says, Jim's always told me, if Dwight says to do anything, you said, of course I will. If you want to accept a mission, of course I will. How Gryffindor can you get?
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You know it's going to involve bombs. He put one in the trunk when they went to go see Karen. Yeah.
And I had to explain to people, the ones who complained about the show and how they didn't like the show. I'm like, are you watching it the whole time, or are you distracted by your phone or other stuff? I said, because you have to keep your eyes glued to the screen because of the facial expressions of Jim Halpert. I'm like, if you miss those, that's why you don't think the show's funny. I'm like, his facial expressions make this show. I let's look over. Does anybody think that he is? No. I think
He has those Weasley twin ideas. Totally Gryffindor. He's the Weasley triplet. Abby, oh my God, he is the triplet. Holy crap, it's the Trinity.
Dye his hair red.
He would be so hot as a redhead. Can you imagine?
All right, next we have
some new fanfic.
Pam.
She's a Ravenclaw.
I think she is too. I think she is a Ravenclaw who has not achieved the levels that she could have. She's really smart. She knows everything that's going on, not only about her job, but her boss's job and everybody else's job. If it's not for Pam, things would fall apart pretty quick.
Dude, she learned that copier.
Yeah.
She's also incredibly creative. Like, she's an artist, and I think that that is a very overlooked Ravenclaw quality.
Yeah. The creative mind. What do? You tell stories. She's a bard.
Yeah. I mean, the whole paintings that, we got to see from Pam, I think shows her creativity. And the quips and comebacks and raised eyebrows that we get from her, I think, kind of illuminate her Ravenclaw qualities.
For sure.
So far, we've gotten, with the first four, we've gotten all four houses. The four big characters on the shore. On the show.
That goes back to your foursomes panel that you did earlier.
Yeah. That's the foursome for The Office.
Yeah.
Next in line is Angela. Angela Martin.
She is so Slytherin. She's Narcissa. No, she's not Narcissa. She's Bellatrix. Is she Bellatrix or is she Narcissa? Ooh, or is she the evil triplet of the two of them?
I don't.
She might be, because she's the blonde. She might be the evil triplet.
She could, but she definitely.
But she is Slytherin.
Yeah, I don't think that she's Narcissa, just because she does not seem to have that loyalty and caring that Narcissa has.
She does for her cats, though. She's a mom. True. She's a mom to her cats, and she will cut a bitch. I mean, she has the hair from everything. She's a fierce mama.
Right, but she doesn't have the loyalty to her spouse or anything. Think about all the affairs that she has, and the fact that even when she was with Dwight for the first bit, she wanted to keep it a secret because she wanted to protect her image. I definitely think she is a Slytherin. I just don't. I don't think I would compare her to any of the Slytherin.
To those that they love, Slytherins are loyal. So then, if she wasn't loyal, it wasn't out because she didn't love them. So then
she used them to get her own, to her own ends.
Which is
and she is a strict rule follower, just like a Slytherin. In a different way than the Hufflepuffs follow rules. Hufflepuffs follow rules because it makes everybody's life better. Slytherins follow rules so that they can yell at people to follow the rules. That's Angela.
Right.
And Olivia sitting there not going, it's true.
I'm the head of the planning committee.
Yep, the head of the party planning committee. And how she freaked out, and they had those 2 party planning committees for that one time.
The funny thing is, Phyllis said that green was a whorish color. She's Slytherin, so that's kind of funny. she was like, I can't show my true colors.
Now, of
Mask
course,
it.
she would say that about Green because you know that Angela has never ever read Harry Potter because that is against the dictates of her faith, I'm sure.
Ooh.
But I think we're all in agreement. Angela is Slytherin. What about Oscar? Oscar's
he's Ravenclaw.
I think he is.
I think he's Ravenclaw because of like his social justice and his like, you guys are idiots, and I'm gonna milk it for all I can because otherwise I would just be out of here.
Well, Oscar was smart enough to be quiet about accepting all that money that he got for Michael's stupidity.
That kiss.
And I mean, that's a kind of a Ravenclaw thing. It's like, well, if you're going to throw me a bunch of money, I'll sit at home and collect it. I'm good with that.
Yeah, a 3-month vacation.
Yeah.
And a new car. Yeah.
Slytherin would have yelled until they got the money. Oscar knew that money was coming, and he played it. He played
the market.
Yeah, he played the game. He's a game player when it comes to that, but he's always doing his work. He's always at his desk. He gets irritated at others when they're interrupting him and not allowing him to get finished with what he's supposed to do. And as a Ravenclaw, I find people that interrupt me when I'm in the middle of something to be highly irritating. Just leave me alone. So, it starts up there poking. I'm not in the middle of anything. I'm just running my mouth. I don't care. At this point, it's like a ADHD support group. Oscar's a Ravenclaw, smart and smug. He is. He's got a quiet smugness about him. It's one of those raised eyebrow kind of smugness. It's like, oh my God, I'm so much better than you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so much smarter than you, and I do my job better than anybody here because I am intellectually superior. Yes.
You stupid woman.
When I was like writing my notes, I definitely had him teetering between Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Excuse me. I eventually ended up like putting him in Ravenclaw, but like my Slytherin points were, you know, like how he really enjoys like the finer things in life and how he feels that he's like better than others and kind of like looks.
He's so bougie.
Yeah, very bougie. I feel like the bouginess is usually with Slytherins, like. Not necessarily in a bad way. I love my Slytherins.
There are bougie Ravenclaws, though.
There are bougie Ravenclaws.
I mean, you know, we see examples of that in the books. That you know, not all of them are dressing like I do. You know, slovenly and you know, half-ass. There are some that go for that finer thing in life, but I think that slides Umbridge over into no. I don't know. Umbridge was she was a Slytherin.
She was a Slytherin.
But if she was her connivingness of like would be kind of
Lockhart would be the Ravenclaw that is bougie that I was thinking.
Oh my God!
Please stop bringing him up. Keep bringing him
up.
I
wasn't going to mention his name, man. I wasn't. But
are you a Lockhart fan? Story.
No, like we don't want him in our house.
Oh yeah.
No, he's
a disgrace to Ravenclaw.
All right, next in line, I have Kevin Malone. I love Kevin.
I love Kevin so much.
I want Kevin to bring chili to my house.
I want him to bring chili, and I want him to sing Sting to me. Please sing Roxanne. Please sing. He is such a Hufflepuff. I love him.
I was about to say all the Puff things. You want him to sing to you and bring you food and comfort. He is the biggest Puff.
He is. I think he's the perfect example of a Hufflepuff.
He's a Saint Bernard.
Even when they treat him like crap, he's like that puppy dog that keeps coming back. For the most part, he doesn't really give up on people. He keeps trying to find even in the worst people something good. I have to give Kevin that. I think he's 100% Hufflepuff. I don't know if
he's like a Neville Longbottom.
Yeah, but he's a Hufflepuff version of Neville.
Yeah, he's a Hufflepuff version of a Neville.
He's just a sweet guy. Bless his heart.
He just wants everyone to be happy.
You know, sometimes we have a character, we have to work backwards where we say what houses they aren't. With Kevin, I think it's easy because the other three don't even come into play with him. I mean, brave,
another
no. Smart, no. Ambitious, not in the least. there is only one house, and they take the leftovers, and Kevin is that guy who
He's a leftover.
He's perfect. Oh my God.
Look at that face. He's a leftover.
I don't think that we can give him Hufflepuff being a leftover, though. I think he fits the other traits.
No,
of
he
Hufflepuff.
totally
He's
does.
the definition.
He's so
Okay.
him.
I
Kevin,
just don't like giving Hufflepuff as a leftover.
No, well, I only say that because like I self-identify as queer, so I like that I'm a leftover. Like I'm an othery, squishy, like kind of like you're all the things, but at the same time you want to be, you wish you were the other things. That's all I buy it.
Gotcha.
what about Kelly?
I think she's a Slytherin.
I think she is. She's not a Ravenclaw. She's not a Gryffindor.
She played
I almost put her
to
in
get what she
Gryffindor.
wants.
Really? Why would you do that, Hannah?
So I almost put Kelly in Gryffindor because I find her really similar to like Lavender Brown. And
You just made my brain go zoop. King moment right there.
so like in her pursuits of Ryan and like doing the rash things for attention. And that's kind of where it was going with the Gryffindor thing. I can definitely see the Slytherin side as well, with like the gossip and the kind of being sneaky to get what she wants. So I was very torn on this sorting.
Well, what about the peanut gallery? Y'all post some stuff. What are you thinking? Olivia, where do you put Kelly?
I think that she's clearly a Slytherin because like she plays situations to get what she wants, and I feel like she's able to manipulate her emotions depending on who she's talking to, which I think is a very Slytherin trait.
Oh, that's true.
Changes face depending on who she's talking to, and that's so manipulative.
That's very true.
Yeah, the manipulation of emotions, I think, is definitely a Slytherin thing. I'm not sure Gryffindors have that capability. They're just kind of there. Whatever they're feeling at the moment, I'm not sure they're really good at hiding.
Oh, that's okay, Ryan. I'm just pregnant. I'll take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
Nope. I mean, that's pretty Slytherin right there.
Yeah. I think she's Slytherin. I've always thought she was Slytherin, and I don't mean a dastardly type of Slytherin. I mean just one that encompasses the traits that aren't necessarily bad, aren't necessarily good. They're just traits of Slytherin. So let's see who else we got on this. I have slides for like 20-something people. So Phyllis, I think Phyllis is a Hufflepuff.
I agree. She's the mom of the office.
She is,
but she will go honey badger on your ass.
She will.
I love her so much. And she is naughty. She's the after dark Hufflepuff that's been like, oh yeah, because she's like, I'm a Protestant, and Vance is a Lutheran or whatever. And she's like, we like to keep it spicy. Like, what are you doing, Phyllis?
Yeah, that was always fun to watch the show because you don't get Phyllis stepping out except for maybe once or twice a season. And so when I was marathoning, literally I would keep going until Phyllis said something that was over the top. It's like, okay, that's a good stopping point for now.
I like my erotica cakes. What, Phyllis?
Well, she was actually a writer on the show. And
so
then, and she wasn't going to act on it at all. And then they like pulled her to be an actor on it. Like she didn't act at all before this. She was just a writer, and they were just like, yeah, like you can just sit in the office and like be an extra for this one episode. And then they liked her so much that they ended up keeping her character on. There's a couple characters like that were actually writers, and then they ended up just staying on as regular characters.
I love it when Hollywood steps outside that box. Yeah, your casting director gave you a list of people that would be good in the show, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be keeping your eyes open for that hidden talent that you can then yank. I always think of Arlie Ermey, who was in Full Metal Jacket. He was there as a consultant to teach the guy how to act like a Marine Corps drill sergeant. And he gets finished showing the guy how to do it, and the director said, "Yeah, I want you. You're fired." And you know what? That's how it should be. I mean, once you've got your guy, that's what. And honestly, I can only imagine. I'll bet you that she is hilarious behind the scenes.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm
She just
sure.
pulls this off so well. But I think that she is a consummate Hufflepuff. She is definitely the one whose house you want to go to for Thanksgiving because you know you will be well taken care of.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's see.
And she'll make you mittens too.
You know she
you just
will.
can't wash
She
them.
got a drawer full.
You can't dry them.
Andy Bernard. Andy changed. Andy was different the first time we met Andy. And
He's
then
such a Slytherin.
as he slowly, as the character got a little, as the series went on, I think we saw some changes in Andy. I think
He was
that's
slimy from the very beginning to me because he was after Karen and he was all like, I don't know. He just always came across as
I
slimy
don't
to me.
think he's a Slytherin because I think he would be better at it if he was. He is slimy.
Is he?
Um,
I just think he's a bad Slytherin. he's just a bad one.
Okay, Slytherin does not claim him. He absolutely sucks.
Yeah, like he's the Lockhart of Slytherin. Like he wants to think that he's like a Ravenclaw or he wants to think he's a Gryffindor, and like they were just like no, not even Hufflepuff wants your ass.
Well,
You're just,
see, now that's where I was going to go. Is I was thinking there are a lot of Hufflepuffs out there who want to be Slytherin because it's cool, and I'm wondering if Andy's not a Hufflepuff who wants to be a Slytherin. And
Death Eater Hufflepuff.
I don't know.
Does he have that like loyalty aspect to be a Hufflepuff though? I don't think so. See, I put down, and
I mean, he was very
like
loyal,
I hate to like put him in my house, but I think that he would be a Ravenclaw because he's always talking about how he went to Cornell, and like I feel like talking about getting your education and always being like, oh yeah, I like learning and I went to college and blah blah. That's such like a basic Ravenclaw thing.
but he's not doing it because he partied the whole time.
You don't have to actually be smart to be a Ravenclaw, though.
I think but I'm saying if you look at the root of why he's bragging, he's not bragging because he's book smart. It's because he's privileged and he wants you to think him better because he's had that education. But he didn't actually.
Okay, fair.
He was just drunk the entire time.
But when
But does he want you to think that
on
he's
your
smart?
head and it says,
Yeah.
I think it's a Slytherin, you're allowed to go, oh, no, I'm totally Ravenclaw. And the Sorting Hat will take that into consideration. I'm wondering if Andy's not a Slytherin who got sorted into Ravenclaw because that's what he wanted. He wanted to be able to brag about his education and
His
how
privilege.
smart he is, how talented he is. I think he's a Slytherin who wanted to be Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I think he
wrench in this and
values.
say
Yeah.
that he's got like that Gryffindor cockiness though.
He really does.
He's very
great.
boastful about really nothing. Like he's got nothing going for him, yet he finds some way to boast about literally anything.
Well, so Kevin says he wants to be all the best qualities at each house, but he never gets close enough.
He's a squib.
And said he's a squib. You know what? Maybe Andy is a squib. He couldn't achieve any of the full qualities of any of the houses because he doesn't have the magic. He doesn't. I think he is the most
He's so
unmagical
pale.
character on the entire show. So I'm cool with Andy being a squib. It kind of makes sense to me.
He's so pale. He just sucks the energy out of you unless he's singing. It's the only time he's magical.
Prentice says I think he's Griff, not necessarily brave, but brash and willing to out himself out there in all kinds of crazy situations and grabs at all sorts of opportunities, even if he is wildly underqualified. That is true. He will charge head first into the stupidest of situations.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind is when he let them choose something to tattoo on him.
That was such a fantastic episode. Look at little Nargon.
I feel like that's a very Gryffindor thing
It
of
is.
him to have done.
Maybe that's what it is. He's a Gryffindor.
But he was doing it for a Hufflepuff reason. So again, it's him trying to do things for the different
That's
houses,
true.
but still kind of either missing the mark or just barely making it.
He wants to be everybody's friend, but he also wants to be the boss. And I think he's
like a Michael Scott
hard.
wannabe. He's like,
yeah. He's trying
but so trying too hard, I feel like, is a very Ravenclaw trait.
God, this one's a hard one.
You know what we could do? Watch this. Watch this. We're going to come back to Andy later. Let's move on to Stanley.
Oh, my God.
Stanley has no ambition. Stanley is perfectly happy with his lot in life. Stanley is not a Hufflepuff because he has loyalty to absolutely no one, including his wife, who he is having an affair on. So that's 2 down. So now we're left with Slytherin or Gryffindor. Not Ravenclaw or Gryffindor. I don't think Stanley is exceptionally smart. I don't think he cares about being smart. I don't think he admires people who are smart. And he thinks the smartest thing to do is to avoid work at all. Do
you know what his greatest ambitions are? His greatest ambitions are for Pretzel Day and the idea of being able to go to Florida where he can do nothing. He's a Slytherin. His ambition, it's like his drive, but it's his only drive. So he's a lazy Slytherin.
Maybe that's it. Oh my God.
He's lazy.
Yes, he's a crab or a goyle.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because that happens. I mean, they do exist. We sit there and watch them.
I just want 364 more days to Pretzel Day.
I think he also does the least amount of work possible for the most payout, and that is so Slytherin. Like, he is really tricking the system there. Like, he's doing nothing.
He sleeps most of the day.
Yeah, but he's still getting paid.
Yep.
Literally goals.
Okay. We'll color Stanley green.
Yeah.
No, nobody is disagreeing there. I think that everybody's on the
look at that. Look at that
snake
face.
train for Stanley.
Oh,
yeah, look at that face.
He's up to something.
Screams Slytherin, doesn't he? Okay. Next we have Toby Flenderson.
Oh, poor Toby. Toby's such a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Now, Toby gives off the appearance of a Hufflepuff, but Toby...
Do you think he's a Gryffindor?
I think he's a...
No, I think he's a Ravenclaw.
He's a psych major. You have to study a lot to be able to be a psych, to be able to do counseling.
And he writes books.
As
he likes to frequently tell everybody.
Murder mysteries.
Yes, with his hero.
And he likes to try to do everything by the book too. Like he handles all the paperwork. So he tries to get Michael to do the paperwork.
Like, they're not going to do crossovers, but he's kind of like a Ravenclaw with a little bit of a puff.
He is. I think we assume he's a puff because he's very low key, and that's not puff.
He's so in love with Pam, and he keeps it hidden because I don't know. He has a lot of loyalty and a lot of love for certain people.
Yes.
I still think he's Ravenclaw.
I think he's Ravenclaw because I don't think that his drive is loyalty.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly,
it's resolution.
Another one to push him into Ravenclaw. I think Toby does his job because he thinks he can fix situations. He can think his way through every situation. He thinks he can fix Michael Scott. And
he got really close.
I'm not.
The psych episode, it was surprising.
I'm not sure if Michael is fixable, but it's definitely a project that a Ravenclaw would take upon themselves because they think it's possible.
He's a masochist Ravenclaw.
He is.
And I feel like
yes. Yeah.
I feel like a puff would be more hurt on how Michael treats him.
And he's just steadfast. He's just Michael.
Yeah, like a Ravenclaw wouldn't really care as much on how Michael hates on him, but a puff I feel like would be like, no, please be my friend. I'm just please be nice to me. But Toby's I'm just trying to do my job. Come on.
Just trying to do my job.
Yeah, I think Toby's a Ravenclaw.
Yep.
Look,
he's so.
He is.
Hello,
I'm smarter than you guys. It's okay.
Well, how I got stuck here.
Call me all the sorts of names you want. Meredith.
I think she's a Gryffindor. She don't give no F. She will try anything at least twice.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
considering her lifestyle, she lives a pretty brave lifestyle.
Mhm.
She's bold and brash, and those are like two key Gryffindor qualities.
Yeah, I mean, she's very adventurous in so many different ways.
I mean, she was hit by a car and got rabies while at work and continued to work there.
Yeah.
So if that's not a Gryffindor, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
She kept facing the gauntlet. She had to face a bat. She had to face Michael's car. She had to face lice.
And she did it all, like, you know.
And she all just laughed and just was like, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's cool. I'll do this. Yeah, I'll jump in with both feet. Wow, you know what? I didn't see me going to Gryffindor with Meredith. I mean, honestly, I come into these panels with just a cursory idea of where I'm going to stick them all, and just flipping through the photos. I don't think at any point did I say, "Oh yeah, Meredith's definitely a Gryffindor," but now Meredith is definitely a Gryffindor.
I changed your mind. I changed Chris's mind. Oh my God, I just made my con. That was my con right there.
Creed.
Ooh.
Creed?
He is resourceful.
He
Dude, he
is.
sells all of the computers in the whole office.
What band is it that he's a member of? I can't remember. Because he legit
He's
is
legit
an
in the
actual
band.
member of that
The band.
band that they discuss in the office.
And his name actually is Creed.
Yeah, they didn't change his name. I mean, they
It's
brought
Creed,
in
he
a
can't
real
say-
dude who was really a member of that band.
And they basically made a character that was him. Like this weird hippie, like he's like, I've been in a cult and I've been the cult leader. And you're like, what? That's his life.
Yeah, they're pretending he's a character, but no, they pretty much let him play.
Do you think he's a Ravenclaw because he wants to experience everything? Or is he Slytherin because he wants to experience everything but on his terms and he doesn't want to have to account for anything, which is why
I
he's
think he's Slytherin.
Yeah.
I think so too. Well,
But he is a crafty.
and I don't say that because Creed's been running from the law for 30 years.
No, he's crafty though. He is.
He is. He's very crafty. He's very cunning.
He's very resourceful.
He is.
Yeah.
We can. When you look at
I paid for
Slytherin,
these privileges.
you can flick off the ambition. No, Creed doesn't have any ambition, but he has all the other qualities of a Slytherin
He has a drive.
pretty well down. Definitely, I don't.
I mean,
and
his
shit.
ambition might be there, but it might just be for something different. Like his ambition could be to, keep his life the way it is. His ambition could be his secrecy.
That's it.
For him, it really is his survival.
Right.
Thank you, Southern Sword. Creed was a member of the Grassroots.
I mean, he's trying to just survive. He's like, you see him trying to take a shower. You see him trying to go into the women's bathroom. So the basic need of even just using the facilities. So his drive is so basic. It's not even just for greater knowledge. It is for basic human needs. That's to me, that's kind of a Slytherin thing. It's all about you have to have your basic needs covered before you do anything else. You got to take care of you and yours.
I think maybe his ambition is to not get caught.
Exactly.
So he does have ambition, just not life-changing ambition.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
that little ambition. All right, let's see. Next we have Ryan.
He's
Slytherin.
Oh,
Ambition.
I think
All
Ryan-
the ambition.
yeah. Ryan is definitely a Slytherin, and he's the Slytherin that I don't like. I didn't like Ryan from the moment he was first introduced. He has all the bad qualities of Slytherin, I believe. I just don't like him. Now, look, I like his character being in the show, but yeah, I am never ever gonna go have dinner with Ryan, or even have a beer, or even step outside and have a smoke with Ryan. I don't have any use for Ryan.
Nope.
I think he is a terrible type of Slytherin. He is the one that is he's just greasy. I don't know. There's something about that guy. I just can't stand it.
Like even in the one moment where he almost has redemption with taking care of that kid, the kid that just gets dropped on him, he still drops it on someone else. So there's nothing redeemable about him at all.
I don't think so either. The whole little love thing that they had going on between him and Kelly is just. Now, Kelly, what are you thinking? Why?
I just feel so bad for her.
I do too. No self-esteem whatsoever. That's the whole time. Every time the two of them are on screen, I'm going, bless your heart, you have no self-esteem. Why would you lower yourself to being with this guy?
You're so much better than that.
He definitely was sitting at the long table with Voldemort in book 7. I mean, that's where I see him.
He's such a Death Eater.
He's a terrible person.
Look at that face. Look at that face. Oh, look at that face.
Daryl?
Look at that face. He's a Gryffindor, or he's a Hufflepuff. God, he's like Barry White. He's all like, I just gonna love him. I'm gonna love me that pie, and I'm gonna love me that woman.
I love Daryl.
I love Daryl.
Yeah.
But he's so loyal because he's like, what's that one's name? You should know. His name's Michael. Like he is fiercely loyal in his warehouse.
Yeah. I think that he's a Hufflepuff with Gryffindor tendencies.
I agree with you, Olivia. Yeah.
He's just so kind, and he just values friendship so much, and that's key to being Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
And I really think he embodies that.
Yeah, and just how he reacted and how upset he was when everybody left the warehouse, and not even obviously he was upset because they all won the lotto pool and he wasn't involved in it because he wasn't down there anymore. He was also upset. He was also upset because he didn't know anybody that was going to be down there anymore. And he had such a hard time rehiring people because all of his people were gone, and he had such an immense loyalty to them. And he was just so hurt by that. And I feel like a Gryffindor wouldn't have shown that hurt, but he did. And I feel like that's a Hufflepuff thing.
I think so.
Yeah, he is not afraid to show his vulnerability.
No. And I mean, he's just a generally nice guy, and he's that nice guy that you don't know right away that he's a nice guy, but 5 minutes later you're going, oh, you cracked through that rock. Daryl is just pudding. Okay.
I love my Daryl Philbin.
Nobody else is disagreeing with us deciding that Daryl is a Hufflepuff, so we'll move on to the next character, which is Jan.
She's a Ravenclaw. But she's an ambitious Ravenclaw.
She's a Slytherin Ravenclaw.
She's a Slytherin.
You think she's Slytherin? She is about trying to go through the corporate ladder and try to break that glass ceiling. Especially with her daughter Olivia. She's all about getting her to be, because she's creative. She sings, she makes candles, she's a self-made woman. She does have a lot of Ravenclaw kind of tendencies. She's just a bitch.
but she takes what she wants. And she
uses the system, though.
She uses the rules in the system, which is a Slytherin thing. What do you think, Olivia?
I think she's a Slytherin, but I do think that she has Ravenclaw tendencies. But I think that her ambition and her strive for power, that is what makes her a Slytherin.
Yeah, she's definitely one of those on the fencers. She's on the asking the sorting hat, being okay, which one do you want? Because
I do think that she has a drive for knowledge as well, but I think it comes secondary to her drive for ambition.
I think so too. She uses knowledge to further her ambition.
Exactly.
Rather than the other way around. So, yeah. Nobody over there is throwing anything at us. Come on. What do you think?
They think that we're just so dead on they can't help it. We're just,
we're getting these so perfect every single time.
We are sometimes we have a lot of we've all been to these panels. Sometimes there's a lot of debate, but these are so, the writing is so just, you can't help it.
How about Roy?
Do we have time for Roy?
We do not have time for Roy.
That's okay. So. You don't need Roy anyways. Bye, Roy. Bye, Felicia.
Roy is a muggle. So
he is. He has no magic.
Looks like we are going to have to shut down. Thank you all for joining us at Virtual CONjuration. We have one more panel before we get to the closing ceremonies, and we hope to see everybody there. We're going to be giving our house points out so that we can see who won the cup this year. We also have a prize, a piece of stained glass that we're going to be giving away to one lucky person. And it will be amongst those who participated the most this weekend. So look forward to that. I guess we're going to call this a close, and we will see you next year.
We
Bye-bye.
love you guys.
Bye.
I love you. I see you. You matter because guess what? You're made of matter. Ah.